Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash the like, because what I'm about to reveal will change how you understand every interaction with younger women forever. Right now, I need you to be honest with yourself. When a younger woman looks at you, even for a second, she's already making judgments that most men never notice. These judgments aren't about money, status, or even how you look physically. They are far more subtle, far more psychological, and they operate at a level you can't fake if you try. You could walk into a room feeling confident, dressed sharp, smelling perfect, and yet in the split second her brain processes you. She's already placing you on a mental hierarchy. And this isn't just about attraction, it's about perception of dominance, control, and value. Here's the truth most men refuse to accept. Women, especially younger women, are wired to read behavioral microsignals instantly. They notice posture, the way you occupy space, the cadence of your voice, even your eye contact. These tiny, almost invisible cues tell them more about your confidence, emotional intelligence, and stability than your wallet ever could. And the dangerous part, most men have no idea they're broadcasting weaknesses without realizing it. That slight hesitation before you speak, that forced laugh, the way your shoulders slump subtly when you walk into a room. These are not just habits. They are indicators of your inner state, your emotional armor, and she reads them like an open book. What's even more critical is that younger women don't consciously decide to like or dismiss you. They just feel it, and feeling isn't random. It's a rapid, instinctive calculation of value. Older men who don't understand this tend to overcompensate, try too hard to impress, to showcase knowledge, to flaunt experience. But here's the paradox. The harder you push, the more she senses uncertainty. Confidence isn't about showing off what you've done. Confidence is invisible, silent, and it radiates from stability, self-possession, and knowing exactly who you are. By the end of this video, you'll understand the unspoken code she's using to evaluate you in less than a heartbeat, and more importantly, how to subtly signal that you are the kind of man she can't ignore. Most men never see this, and that's why younger women seem to reject men who, on paper, have everything. You're about to see why the surface doesn't matter, and why psychology, your psychology, is the hidden battlefield. Here's something most men fail to realize. Younger women are not evaluating you based on what you say. They are evaluating you based on what you don't say and what you don't do. Every gesture, every pause, every subtle expression becomes a data point in her subconscious algorithm. She notices the way you hold your drink, the way you scan a room, the micro-expression that flashes across your face before you catch it. These are all signals that tell her whether you are a man who can anchor himself in any situation, or a man who is just pretending to be confident. And this is where most older men stumble. They think experience alone buys attraction. It doesn't. Experience without control is weakness dressed in age. Younger women, particularly those who are self-aware, are scanning for emotional mastery. They are unconsciously asking, can he handle tension without breaking? Can he command respect without raising his voice? Does he operate from a place of calm authority or reactive desperation? These are not questions you answer with money, charm, or stories about your past. They are answered through presence. And presence isn't something you can fake with a smile or a clever line. It's felt. It's in the stillness of your stance, in the patience of your gestures, in the quiet assurance that your value is internal, not external. What happens when you lack this presence? She senses it immediately, even if you've got the best wardrobe, the perfect car, or the smoothest pickup lines. She feels the tension, the uncertainty, the neediness, and it triggers a subconscious rejection switch. It doesn't matter how attractive you think you are. What matters is whether she senses that you are fully in command of yourself. The irony is brutal. Men over 35 who have achieved success often sabotage it with insecurity. They believe age gives them an automatic advantage, but what younger women really see is a man who should know better, yet still struggles with the same internal battles as the 22-year-old next to him. Now, here's the part most men never hear from anyone. Younger women are drawn to psychological stability, like gravity. It's not about being young and exciting, it's about demonstrating that you are unshakable, deliberate, and aware of the invisible currents that govern attraction. Every glance she gives, every laugh, every shift of posture is her subconscious testing your psychological density. And if you fail that test, even slightly, she moves on without ever consciously realizing why. By understanding this invisible code, you can begin to operate at a level where her subconscious pulls toward you rather than rejects you. You'll start to see that attraction isn't a game of flashy moves, it's a silent conversation between your inner state and her perception of your strength. This is the battlefield most older men never enter, and it's where the power truly lies. Now, let's get brutally honest about what younger women actually look for in older men, because this is where most men completely misread the situation. In the first few seconds of meeting you, her brain is scanning for patterns, not stories. She's not listening to your resume, your jokes, or even your compliments. Instead, she's observing how you handle yourself under tiny pressures, the way you react when someone interrupts you, the subtle tone in your voice when you answer a question, the patience in your movements. These micro moments communicate whether you are in control or whether your control is an illusion. And illusions are spotted faster than any carefully curated wardrobe. Every subtle movement she notices is coded. A slight hesitation before you speak can signal doubt. A nervous glance at your phone can signal insecurity. Even your breathing pattern, the pace at which you enter a room, or the way you lean into conversation sends an unconscious signal. If you've spent years achieving success but haven't mastered your body language, your energy, and your emotional equilibrium, she sees right through it. She doesn't even need words to recognize weakness. She feels it. And make no mistake, younger women are experts at feeling. Their attraction isn't logical, it's instinctual. Here's what most older men fail to understand. Confidence isn't about boasting, it's about restraint. It's about the quiet mastery of your presence, the unspoken message that you are comfortable in your skin, that your value does not fluctuate based on external approval. When you exhibit this internal security, younger women respond without even realizing it. You don't chase, you don't plead, you don't explain. You simply exist with certainty, and suddenly, what once seemed unattainable becomes drawn to you. The dangerous trap older men fall into is trying to prove their worth externally. Flashy stories, expensive gestures, overcompensation. But here's the truth. They aren't impressed by what you have. They are impressed by who you are. And who you are is revealed in the small, almost invisible behaviors that signal control, stability, and emotional intelligence. These signals are like codes only the perceptive eye can decode, and she is decoding yours every second. To shift her perception in your favor, you must first become aware of these unconscious judgments. You must train yourself to control your subtle signals, your stance, your gestures, your energy. You must learn to speak without needing approval, move without needing permission, and exist without broadcasting neediness. This is what separates older men who feel invisible from those who become magnetic, without changing a single external factor. Once you understand this, you start to play a different game entirely. A game of psychological depth where attraction is no longer a gamble, but a carefully understood dynamic. And once you see this, nothing about dating younger women will ever feel confusing again. Here's the part most men never get. Younger women are running a subconscious evaluation matrix on you from the first moment they notice you. And this evaluation happens in milliseconds, before a word is spoken, before a joke lands, even before your smile reaches them. They are scanning for three invisible but critical signals: emotional stability, behavioral consistency, and unshakable presence. Each of these factors carries more weight than your bank account, your car, or your achievements. If you fail even slightly in any one of these areas, her interest dims, often without her even realizing why. Let's break it down. Emotional stability is the ability to regulate your energy and mood instantly. If a conversation triggers tension, insecurity, or overexcitement, she reads it instantly. Behavioral consistency is the alignment between your actions, your words, and your energy. If your energy wavers, if you act confident one moment and unsure the next, it signals a hidden instability. And presence? That's the silent magnetic force that communicates, I am here, I am grounded, I am in control. Presence is invisible, yet it radiates power and security. These three invisible factors are her mental checklist for whether you are worth her attention or not. Here's why most older men never pass this test. They rely on experience, external validation, or old dating tactics, thinking age gives them an advantage. But in reality, age without psychological mastery is invisible, or worse, unattractive. Younger women are biologically wired to detect subtle inconsistencies because it speaks to the long-term reliability of a man. She isn't consciously calculating. She's feeling whether you are someone who can handle pressure, discomfort, and emotional fluctuation with grace. Her instincts are sharp and they are brutally honest. The good news is, this isn't a game you lose forever. Once you understand the code, you can signal it deliberately. Your posture, eye contact, pacing, and energy all become tools of attraction. A slight pause before responding, a slow, deliberate gesture, and calm, measured breathing communicate mastery instantly. You don't need to impress. Impressing is desperation disguised as effort. Instead, you command attention by simply being the man she perceives as unshakable. When you start to operate at this level, everything changes. You'll notice younger women observing you differently. They lean in subconsciously. Their energy subtly mirrors yours. They test you with micro-challenges, and instead of retreating, you respond with controlled calm. This is the invisible currency of attraction that older men rarely understand, yet it is the most powerful advantage you can ever have. Once mastered, it rewrites the rules entirely. Now let's get into the behaviors that actually shift perception. The ones almost no older man ever notices, and yet they carry enormous weight in her subconscious evaluation. These aren't tricks or manipulations. They are psychological signals that communicate stability, confidence, and unspoken dominance without a single word. The first is controlled energy. Every movement you make, how you walk, how you gesture, how you sit, tells her about your internal state. Quick, jerky, or reactive movements broadcast tension and uncertainty. Slow, deliberate, grounded motions convey that you are anchored, unshakable, and in control of your environment. Women feel this energy immediately, and it either pulls them in or pushes them away. Next is the subtle power of listening. But not just nodding politely. True listening is a conscious presence that signals emotional intelligence. You watch her expressions, you notice the small shifts in tone, you respond without overreacting, without rushing to impress. This tells her you are capable of understanding her without judgment or neediness, and that creates an invisible magnetic pull. Men who dominate conversation or constantly inject their own stories are often signaling insecurity, even when they think they are being charming. Silence, patience, and measured responses communicate far more powerfully than words ever could. Another critical signal is confident boundaries. Women are wired to detect whether a man has limits, whether he values himself enough not to overextend for approval. This shows in how you respond to requests, interruptions, or even casual challenges. A man who immediately bends, laughs nervously, or seeks validation signals low self-worth. A man who calmly asserts his stance, with no anger or apology, signals authority and self-possession. Younger women feel this immediately. It triggers subconscious respect and attraction. Posture, voice tone, and micro-expression are equally vital. Keep your chest open, shoulders relaxed but strong. Speak slowly, with intentional cadence. Small, natural smiles at the right moments create warmth without neediness. Avoid fidgeting or over-gesturing, because that screams anxiety. Every micro-signal adds up, building a perception of a man who is grounded, experienced, and fully aware of his power without needing to announce it. Here's the key takeaway. These behaviors aren't learned overnight. They are cultivated through awareness and deliberate practice. The men who master them aren't trying to pick up women. They are living in a state of confidence and control, and attraction becomes a natural byproduct. Younger women notice, and more importantly, they respond instinctively. The invisible code is no longer a mystery. It becomes your tool to command attention, respect, and desire without effort or artifice. Finally, let's uncover the mindset that transforms everything. The hidden psychological framework that older men who attract younger women operate from, and why most men fail without even realizing it. The first truth is simple. Attraction isn't about proving your worth, it's about embodying it. When you obsess over approval, when you try to impress, when you showcase what you've done or earned, you are broadcasting neediness. Neediness is invisible to you, but blindingly obvious to her. Younger women, especially those attuned to subtle psychological signals, feel it immediately. They don't need words to reject it. They simply disengage. The second truth is that your internal state is the only currency that matters. Money, status, or experience only amplify the signals you're already sending. They cannot replace them. If you're anxious, reactive, or uncertain, a luxury car or designer suit does nothing. Conversely, calm, deliberate confidence makes even ordinary circumstances magnetic. She doesn't need to see your achievements. She needs to feel that you operate from a place of control, self-possession, and resilience. This is the invisible power that older men rarely understand, yet it is precisely what younger women are scanning for in the first moments of meeting you. Next is understanding attraction as a silent psychological game, not a surface-level exchange. Every glance, every posture, every subtle gesture is a test, and your response, or lack thereof, speaks volumes. The men who fail are reactive. The men who succeed are reflective. They don't try to force connection. They allow it to emerge naturally because they maintain the inner stability that draws people in. Younger women are drawn not to what you say, but to the energy you project. Calm, composed, deliberate, and unshakable. Finally, this mindset is about freedom. The older man who becomes irresistible to younger women doesn't chase her attention. He attracts it by living a life that doesn't depend on her validation. He cultivates strength, presence, and psychological depth. He knows his value, and because of that, he can navigate attraction without desperation. This creates a magnetic field that younger women feel instinctively. They lean in, they mirror energy, and they test boundaries. But this man responds with calm authority, never reacting with need, fear, or overcompensation. When you adopt this framework, you stop playing games and start being the man she wants without her even realizing it. The hidden code is no longer mysterious. It's a reflection of your inner state, your presence, and your unshakable self-possession. Once you live at this level, younger women notice instantly, respect profoundly, and are drawn to you naturally. The invisible battlefield of attraction is no longer a trap. It becomes a stage where your confidence, psychological mastery, and quiet authority dominate effortlessly. You're no longer trying to be attractive. You are attractive because you've learned the code that most men never even see.